Today's episode of the Electric Batcast is brought to you by Stern. Insider Connected. Head to sternpinball.com to sign up today. Marco Specialties. Everything pinball. Pinball parts and more at marcopinball.com. And Game Room Goodies. Check out GameRoomGoodies.com for new and used pinball machines, arcade games, jukeboxes, pool tables, and more. And now, the click and clack of pinball, Rachel Bess and Cale Hernandez.
Do you know which episode this is?
Nope, probably like 19-ish.
19, 20, something like that. You know what is notable?
What's notable?
We started this podcast on your birthday.
We started on my 44th birthday.
Right, and that was last year.
That was 1 year.
Uh-huh.
And 2 or 3 days ago.
Right. So this is the anniversary of the Batcast.
Because now I'm 45.
Now you're 45. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Yeah. And I love this. And for those of you watching on YouTube, we're in a whole different location. We're in the kitchen. I decided to switch it up because I wanted like a desk where I could have stuff like set up here.
Yeah.
The sound might not be as good because, it's bouncing off of these concrete walls. But
we'll switch it up next
don't
time.
care.
It's weird.
Yeah, don't
no
care.
Big deal.
Let's go with it. I'm sure you'll be able to hear us. And we are really excited to get into this.
It's also the 6th anniversary of the arcade.
6th? You opened...
I opened the arcade on my 39th birthday.
Unbelievable.
We do things on September 16th.
You're an absolutely amazing person.
Thank you.
And we're all very thankful that you've done this.
Everybody sang to me last night at the tournament, and it made me cry.
Oh, yes. We sang happy birthday to Rachel.
100-something people singing happy birthday.
Yeah.
That was wild.
That was touching.
Yeah.
That was a real Hallmark moment.
Yes.
Yeah, that was great. Let's get into it. Should we get into it?
Yeah.
I was about to go, we always say what's coming up at the bat, any new games, but we're going to get into that later because there are some new games coming to the bat, but we're going to address that as part of the conversation.
Should I talk about the anniversary tournament? Would you like information about that, or is that also later?
No, let's get into it.
Okay, so Mark the Shark, Mark Pearson, he does our anniversary tournament. This year, it's going to be November 1st and 2nd. It's limited to 140 people. And sign-ups for that are going to start on September 28th at 9 a.m. Mountain Standard. So keep an eye on our social, and we'll have more information about that. There's also going to be a Friday night or Friday evening pre-tournament. There's also a consolation if you don't make it in the finals. So that whole weekend is good times. I just realized that Friday tournament would be on Halloween then. That's weird.
For real?
Yeah. I'll have to look into that.
Okay.
That's the information that I have right now. More coming.
So, how will people sign up for this? Is there a website?
There will be a website, sign up, and it will be on our social media.
Okay.
So,
and I'll add a link to the website in the show notes.
Yes.
And we'll put it on Discord and all that good stuff. And if you're not on our Discord, head to electricbatarcade.com, go to the podcast tab or link or whatever, in the header up there. They still call it the header? I don't know. I haven't done websites in so long. Anyhow, go to the podcast link, click on that, and then there's a big old Discord link where you can join our Discord and join in the conversation. We talk about all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, and I just double-checked because I thought that would have been crazy if you planned it on Halloween night. It's not. November 1st is that Friday. So November 1st is the warm-up. November 2nd is the main qualifying tournament.
Okay.
And November 3rd is
fantastic. And also, we're doing something special. I don't know if this is just for this show or what's going on. I don't know. We'll figure it out. But Marco Specialties, proud sponsor of the show, is they're giving us and our listeners a free shipping code.
Wow.
Yeah, so if you want to order some parts, and I think you have to spend $150.
$150.
Uh-huh. Mm-hmm. And the free shipping code is EBA150. That's EBA, the number 1, the number 5, and the number 0.
EBA150.
And that's a great value because, I mean, when you're ordering parts, I mean, like
order
we
a bunch
do,
of stuff.
Get a bunch of rubbers, get a bunch of lights, a bunch of stuff you're going to need, and you shouldn't have any problem getting up to $150. Team up with a friend. You're going to save some money on that shipping. So I thank you so much.
Thanks, Marco Specialties.
You folks at Marco. You got Marco, Steve, Emoto, Paul, the whole crew.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good deal. We love those guys.
Yeah.
So let's get into. This is what everybody wants to hear about. I played some new games.
You did.
That are not on the street yet.
You got a special trip.
I got a special trip. So I just got back from Chicago. Mm-hmm. I went to Jersey Jack. They flew me out. They lodged me, and they took care of everything. They fed me some Jimmy John's.
They lodged you.
Yeah.
Fed you some Jimmy John's.
Yeah,
Sounds like that's one and the same.
And we had a great time. But what I want to get into is why didn't you join us? What were you doing?
I was at human decomposition summer camp.
Excuse me?
Come
again?
I was in Texas at a class doing some certified stuff for the official title of the class is Drawing the Deceased, Depicting the Deceased for Identification. Mm-hmm. Basically, it's a class about forensic art whenever bodies are found in less than prime condition, mm-hmm. how to reverse some of that taphonomy, which is what happens after you die, mm-hmm. decomposition,
right.
So that you can draw a likeness of the deceased so that there can be images circulated so they can identify them. So people are like, well, why don't you just use DNA? Well, you have to have something to compare that to. So you have to have somewhere to start. You have to try and guess you have to find out who that person is mm-hmm. before you can use like dental records or DNA or any of the other techniques that people use. So you can do that. We did some stuff from crime scene, from morgue photos, and from skeletal remains. And sometimes a combination of those. And the class was taught by really the preeminent forensic artist. Her name is Karen T. Taylor, mm-hmm. and she's the person that coined the term forensic art. So that's how long she's been in the business. She's in her 70s now.
You were learning from a pioneer in this field.
Absolutely. And if you're a person that watches Forensic Files, America's Most Wanted, any of those shows, and you've seen any of those 3D reconstructed mm-hmm. Models of victims, then that was 2D or 3D, that was likely her work.
So, unbelievable.
So, and I've taken some classes from her in the past. She is one of my favorite people in the whole world, and I met some very, very interesting folks. We also were doing this at, colloquially, the Body Farm, about an hour.
Now, is this what it sounds like?
It is.
This is a body farm.
Well, I mean, you're not growing them, I guess. It's like the reverse of that. But yeah, so it's about an hour outside of Austin. We were out in the middle of nowhere, lots of rattlesnakes, fire ants. It's like a ranch within a ranch, not Googleable.
Wow.
As far as location goes.
So this is like the Area 51 of dead people.
Yes, and there are several of these around the world. This one, it's in Texas, and it happens to be the largest. So there are human remains that were donated, when you're donating your body to science, they were donated specifically to this facility for these purposes. And so there's all different kinds of studies going on. And the reason they do this is because if you find someone out in the desert, you'd like to kind of be able to figure out how long they've been out there mm-hmm. based on various factors, or if you find somebody in a barrel, or if you find somebody in concrete.
Wow.
I mean, all different, basically anything you can think of that a way you might find a victim. Body farms around the world do experiments to help law enforcement, help dead people get justice. So that's what this is about.
Interesting. Wow.
Yep. It was amazing.
That, I can't wait to hear more about it, because there's probably some stuff you can't talk about on the podcast.
There are some things, if people want to talk to me at Expo, I'll answer questions. It was wonderful. But we were working from real cases, and lots of them. Lots of hands-on.
Certainly. Hold on one second. I want to... there we go. Sorry about that. I had to mute my notifications.
Oh, you have too many friends.
Yep, I was getting some notifications, and I don't need that right now. So back to the body farm and all that good stuff. That is the reason you didn't join me on the Jersey Jack trip.
Correct. I was in
You've
Texas.
had this planned for months.
Yes.
And this is something you've wanted to do for the past 20 years.
Yeah.
And you finally got to do it.
I finally got to do this.
Good.
Yeah.
So I got to go to Jersey Jack by myself. I hate traveling without you.
Why is that?
Man, it was sad. Because, since I've met you, we've always traveled together.
Yeah.
Planes, hotels, automobiles, the Ubers, the Lyfts. Now, I'm on my own, but I survived.
I'm so proud of you.
I know. I survived. Great. I fed myself.
You thrived.
Yep. Me and Kaneda went to a gas station late night and found dinner. It was a lot of fun.
And this is why I come along.
Okay, so cool. So the Jersey Jack experience. This Jersey Jack. I get a message from Ken Cromwell.
Super guy.
Super. He's salt of the earth. Great guy. Invited me to do this. And then slowly we started finding out who else was coming. And it was a lot of people from the Stern Media Tour with a little sprinkling of some spice, a little bit extra.
Is that where Kaneda comes in?
That's where Kaneda comes in. I've never met Kaneda. I was excited. I was excited.
Yeah.
And there was, Vic was there, and he was one of the guys that got to see John Wick before anybody else.
Oh, right, yeah.
Kind of caused a stink, but everything was smoothed out afterwards.
And you liked Vic.
Vic was great.
Great.
Everybody on the media side was awesome. The Jersey Jack team. So we get there. We get to play Avatar. And I think this is the first time the public has put their hands on this machine. In true Jersey Jack fashion, this thing is gorgeous.
I would expect nothing less.
Absolutely gorgeous. I have some notes here because I didn't want to forget some of the team. But you have Mark Seid and Keith Johnson. Lead mechanical engineer. I was hanging out with Rachel. I hope I don't butcher her name. Frericks.
Okay.
She was cool.
Mechanical engineer named Rachel. This is sounding great already.
She was so cool. And I talked to her about some of the very interesting mechs in this game, like stuff I've never seen before. And then there is a Leah Faskey. This is the first time she's done pinball art. She did the art on the machine, not the animation. I don't believe, and the LCD. But just all of the static artwork, right?
Static.
Man, she hit it out of the park.
Oh, awesome! I can't wait to see, because I haven't really seen very much of this. I've watched the videos, but I haven't. You've had the experience.
It's amazing. Yes, slap full of lights, incredible light show. Leah, the artist, first time pinball artist. From what I understand, she does and I don't really know what this is. She does the Hearthstone cards. Hearthstone.
Yes.
Okay. Now, I've seen photos of these cards, and I would imagine many artists work on these, but they're always like A+, top-notch work.
Yeah. So think like early Magic the Gathering and then later Magic the Gathering, how it got much better. If maybe you're not familiar with any Magic the Gathering, but imagine now there's a lot of people that want to do it, so the companies have their choice of great artists.
Well,
so
they all did a great job.
I'm sure she's highly qualified and a fantastic artist.
And the rest of the crew was there. The whole, Eric Meunier and Tom Capera, all those guys were there. So we get to play the machine, and it was just like, yeah, have fun, like start playing it. I think I kicked it off like playing with Kaneda or something. First time I ever met him. He dresses like super flashy all the time. That's not just a character.
No, he's got the drip.
Versace glasses, he looks super cool, and he was a nice guy. So we this game is absolutely gorgeous, and it has some really cool stuff in there. One thing that was notable, I've never seen this in pinball. You might refresh my memory, but I've never seen anything like this. When I'm looking at the game when we were not playing it, there's a metal plate, a rectangular plate in one of the ball paths. Mm-hmm. Now, after we started playing it, I realized what it did. So it's flat. That's one ball path.
Yeah. Okay.
It pops up and becomes like a scoop, and
like Funhouse,
and takes the ball underneath, and then it also pops up the other way and becomes a jump ramp.
I've not seen that before, but it's sort of like on the Venom Premium, but different.
Yeah,
right? Like a thing that
for sure. Rachel created that thing.
I like the sound of that.
Hey, how about it? I talked to her about that, and she was really excited, and I was excited for her.
Cool. I'd like to meet her at Expo. I assume she'll be there.
Right. So this game has a lot of like UV light, black light stuff. Yeah. They got Pinball Life to design them a unique color that's reactive for the silicone rubbers.
Oh, okay.
So it's not just your standard like glow in the dark white looking. They were almost like purplish.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Very cool. And Scott Denisi did that for him.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So what's very interesting about when the UV lights come on, it is really subtle. It's not like Stranger Things, where it's like, boom, UV light, and all of a sudden you see all this hidden stuff in the playfield. It gradually comes in because it's simulating an eclipse.
We saw an eclipse last night.
We did see an eclipse last night. And so you know what I'm talking about.
It's in the game.
It's in the game.
I like that. I like that a lot. I'm trying to think of another time where you see like gradual, since things are not incandescent anymore, you don't really get a lot of that dimming effect. So this will be I'm excited to see how they pull that off. And
it was very cool. It happened. It is so subtle. You're playing and you're already experiencing the eclipse, and you don't even realize it. And you're like, whoa, what is going on? And not only is it happening on the play field, it's happening in the display. So
people are going to be like checking their power cables.
For real. It looks, and Keith Johnson even made a joke about that.
Oh, yeah?
Because, the display, and it's not like it's totally black where you can't see part of your display, but it's darker. Uh-huh. And it slowly comes out. And Keith was saying, how many calls do you think we're going to get with people thinking this is a malfunction, right? Oh, hey, I need a new display.
Yeah.
But anyway, so we played the game. Mm-hmm. Kaneda was the first to GC it. Okay. And he got around like 300 million.
Is that good on this game? I don't know what the scoring. I mean, it's a GC, so it must be good.
The scores, well, they were all over the place.
Okay.
And I was like, I can't let Kaneda steal the glory.
In his Gucci pants.
In his Gucci pants. This is my day. So I'm like, my goal was to GC one of these games.
Okay.
And far beyond 300 million. So when the next time we played, I was playing with Jason Knapp. He challenged me to a game. And it was like I didn't do very well on my first and second ball. I only had maybe 20, 30 million points going into my third ball.
That's a stretch. You get 90% to go.
So I start playing, and man, I'm feeling it.
Did you do any of your little spins and some of your flashy stuff?
I didn't do a spin. You've seen me do that in an actual big time tournament, like a finals. I was feeling good and I did a 360.
Yeah.
And got right back to my multi-ball. Yeah. That's how you know I'm in the flow state.
Yeah, that's
right?
how we know to not mess with you.
Yeah.
if you're dancing around.
Yeah. So the best part is, I'm playing this game, and I just feel good. I'm hitting shots. I'm hitting combos. I hear. I'm not looking at the display. I have no idea what my score is.
Let me interrupt you. Are you doing these things, and do you know what you're shooting for, or are you just doing the lit light?
The lit lights.
Okay.
And yeah. But before this, I think it was Keith Johnson was standing behind me at one point, telling me,
"Try shoot this,
shoot that." Mm-hmm. Your right ramp collects your jackpot.
Mm-hmm.
There's a tight right ramp with a spinner at the top, and that's how you get the payoff. So I'm playing this thing, and it's going off. The ball's going under the play field, and there's like 2 different spots under the play field where you have some kind of control. There's also another area where your balls are locked under the play field. You can actually see them. So it's all very beautiful. So then I hear Jason Knapp behind me go, "Holy shit, you just hit a 1 billion point shot." And I'm like, "Oh, this is definitely going to be
billion with a B?
A billion with a B." So I look up, and I'm over 3 billion. I had 2 extra balls. I didn't even play my last extra ball. I ended up with like 3.7 billion.
You're a real grandma's boy.
Right? And I did that. I was like, what is this? Did I break it? And
lo and behold,
I may have broken it. Because Keith came up to me and was like, "How did you do that? I saw you hit a couple of combo shots, and then you hit the 1 billion point shot." And he's like, "I'm not sure the game is supposed to do that." So I think he's going to pull the logs and see what went down.
Someone didn't carry the 1 or carried too many ones.
Yeah, they moved the decimal point too much. But man, what a blast, and this was a lot of fun. All of the shots are cool and feel good and very interesting. At one point, the ball goes underneath the play field into one little area, almost like a little pond. Everything's very organic. They were mentioning that the license holder didn't want anything symmetrical on this game.
Okay.
Right, and they were even like the inserts, and they had to explain, Mark was like telling the license holder, "Well, that's the shape of pinball inserts.
This is how they come."
Right, so they had to overlay, when they printed the play field, there's art overlaid the inserts to give them a more organic feel. And the whole game feels very organic, or the look of it. Mm-hmm. I mean, it feels like a Jersey Jack machine when you play it, but the look is organic. Mm-hmm. Under the play field, your ball can go into one little area where there's a pop bumper under the play field. And the way you play this, the ball is released into this little area, and then the ball starts hitting targets that are across from the pop bumper. Mm-hmm. And you control which targets are lit up. So you're hitting left flipper, right flipper to, try to, I still don't really understand what's going on, but the lights were changing and I was doing stuff and I was excited.
Okay.
Then after that, your ball goes into another area under the play field where you are battling the crab. I've never seen Avatar, so I don't know about the crab, but it's a crab.
Okay. I can imagine a crab.
And if you blow up this part, you get your crab champion. I'm serious. It flashed up. Yeah, crab champ.
All right.
What's cool is, so a full size ball is in the area with the pop bumper.
Uh-huh. Is it your actual ball, or is it a ball that's being held there and your ball is in?
I think it's your ball, but I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know. So then, when your ball moves to the crab area, it's a smaller ball. So it gives you the idea that you're looking into the ocean.
So this is definitely not your ball, because
that's not your ball.
Have like a shrinking machine.
That's not your ball.
Okay.
And now you're playing with that tiny ball, almost kind of like Munsters. The
Munsters
secondary playfield of Munsters.
Okay.
Almost kind of like that. It's not as big as that playfield. But that was the feel of it.
Same flipper buttons?
Same flipper buttons.
So there's one set of flipper buttons.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
I like that.
And then other than that, very cool ramps, a saucer with a vuck, all kind of cool habit trails and all that stuff. I'm sure you guys have seen.
Things.
Yeah, I'm sure you guys have seen the videos and all that good stuff.
Did they show you underneath the playfield?
I don't think we ever saw that.
That was the first thing we did. Not the first thing. That was the first request we had with Barrels of Fun.
Right.
When they showed us Labyrinth.
Right.
And they were happy to do it, and I really appreciated that from them.
I remember asking Rachel if we could lift it up because I wanted to see that mech with the jump ramp, scooter, and I don't know what she was. Yeah, we didn't get to do it.
I want to know how an under the playfield pop bumper, because I don't enjoy working on pop bumpers anyway.
Right. It's like a puzzle.
Yeah, but like a less fun puzzle, just kind of like a puzzle with cussing.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm imagining underneath the playfield, maybe it's easier because you don't have to take off stuff on top, or maybe it's harder because it's all that stuff matched together.
We might find out.
I need to know.
Yeah. So after playing the game a lot, we go into the conference room to have a meeting about the development of Avatar and all that good stuff. I think the entire Jersey Jack team was in that room, besides people who are actually like building the machines. You know, they got to pump these things out. So, Tom kind of led the meeting. Mm-hmm. Jack was not on site, but he did remote in. So there was a television with Jack there, and a microphone and a table so he could listen and talk back. He basically just listened the whole time.
Did this feel? We haven't talked about this.
Mm-hmm.
Did this feel like informative and this is super cool information, or did it have more of a this is the Jersey Jack timeshare spiel? Did you feel like you're going to get a set of knives when you left?
Oh no, this was very like you're hanging out with friends.
Okay,
really
cool.
Brett,
well, and a lot of them are.
Sorry.
A lot of them are our friends.
Yeah, even Brett was there. The
money man.
The money man, the owner. Yeah, super nice guy. Wow.
Cool.
Yeah, so we're everybody's chatting. We're all doing it. Manu was chatting a lot with everybody. First time I met Manu.
I like the MST3K look of his.
Yeah, very good stuff. Then I had two as an operator. I had two questions for the Jersey Jack crew, and we talked about it before I left.
Yes.
One of them was. Are you thinking about operators when you are creating the machine, all the way to like setting pricing, maintenance, and all that stuff, but more set initial cost. And the second question was about something we have a lot of issues with Jersey Jack machines, the light boards.
Yes.
I mean, it's a constant on Godfather, on Elton John, always issues with the light boards. We kind of think it has something to do with using USB-C to deliver power and logic. Is it power and logic? It's at least power.
Yeah. So I think for me, the question is why are you not using something like a Molex, which has a physical clip thing that holds that connection together, and this is USB-C, which just with a lot of vibration and stuff, just kind of doesn't keep a solid connection. And especially this, again, it applies specifically to us. They're on over 20 hours a day, and they're getting a lot of play. So we are the stress test.
So
this is the weak point in Jersey Jack machines for us.
And so lots of times a restart will fix this stuff. So it's like, it's
almost
something
always,
about the machine being on for a while, and it's consistent with Godfather and Elton John. So it's something across
we don't
hardware,
see it
software,
with dialed in,
right?
Or really Toy Story. We have one kind of persistent opto board, even though we've replaced an issue with Toy Story,
right?
But it does seem like the newer edition. I don't know how we don't have a Wonka. I can't compare that, but. Yeah, that does seem to be an issue. And it worries me because I like to I like to have interchangeable parts. So I want like a lamp socket or a little PCB that I can swap out versus very game-specific boards. Okay.
That's a good
Carry
point.
on. Sorry.
Yeah. So when, I wanted to ask these questions when, after a lot of talk and, after, I don't know, about 45 minutes to an hour, I was like, hey, I'm going to ask my question. And I prefaced it because, there may have been some people in the room who don't know what we do. And I prefaced it with, my wife and I run one of the largest most popular arcades in the nation. And we house the largest single location pinball tournament in the entire world.
Pinball league.
Pinball league in the entire world. And we are losing money with Jersey Jacks.
And when you say losing money, we they relative to their cost, they don't make enough money to make up for that difference because they are nearly twice as much as a Stern Pro.
Right.
So
and
they need to make more than a Stern Pro, and they make less than a Stern Pro after the first initial 2 to 3 months.
Right. And I brought up that Eric and Tom during the tour had mentioned that they think about operators. That's really why I wanted to get into this discussion. At one part, they talked about how they space out mechs and give you enough space to work on these machines in a dark bar. That's nice. They are thinking about operators at some level, but it's like the pricing, and that's why I brought up, us losing money on the last 2 titles. So finally, Jack chimes in after he's been quiet for all this time and says, "Here, let me give you my personal number, 1-800-JERSEY-JACK.
That's his personal number?
And I will personally teach you how to operate a pinball machine."
Excuse me?
Yeah, and I don't know if he was joking or whatever. And the first thing I'm thinking is, like, this clown wasn't, able to operate his own business without people coming in. And he wants to, like, come at me with some kind of smart-ass answer. Wow. And if it was a joke, it fell completely flat because it was just, and after that I was like, I'm not talking to this asshole anymore. So I was done. But
that seems very disrespectful. I'm going to teach you how to.
Well, my takeaway was, if this is how little he thinks of somebody he flies out to tour his facility, imagine how little he thinks about, just your everyday customer.
Wow.
I am promoting, I'm on record for, like, saying how much I love Godfather. I'm on record for saying how much I love Elton John.
You do love his games.
And then this is what you get. This is how little they think of people promoting this stuff.
Certainly a think before you speak. So he invites you into his home.
Yeah, and just to berate me.
To tell you don't know what you're doing.
But anyway, so it was kind of like when you go to a friend's house and their grandpa is living with them, and you're having dinner and he's dropping the N-word and everybody's just like rolling their eyes. I think the Jersey Jack crew is just so used to Jack, it wasn't even notable. Okay. Anyway.
Wow.
So
everyone else there, though, that wasn't the feel of the company.
No.
Everybody else was.
Oh my God, they were great. And this was such a stark contrast to the Stern tour. Because you remember when we had a shit ton of people in the conference room. George, Seth, Gary. And even when it went off the rails and people started asking, like, wild questions, stuff that still hasn't been brought up. They answered every question with sincerity. And you could feel it. These guys cared about the people in the room. They truly did.
Do you get the impression that Jersey Jack Pinball exists as a
tax break? No, I don't know.
I mean, some of that, sometimes I feel like maybe he started that just to because he had a personal issue.
Vendetta.
Yes,
a vendetta. Yeah. No, I don't.
Okay.
I don't know anything about it. So after this, I made a beeline to Stern to play X-Men. I was like, screw these people.
Not these people.
No, right, not these people. Screw this one person.
One man, everybody else was a class act.
So
it's just that one man happens to be the name of the company.
Right. So
oh man, that sucks. That's unfortunate that he
It is what it is.
Rude in that way.
Yeah.
I hope that I'm never that way to anybody.
Yeah. So then I go to Stern. I go to Stern immediately. Like I walk out of Jersey Jack lobby and boom, I'm going. It's close by. You can walk there.
Yeah.
Man, and then I played X-Men.
Tell me about that.
Holy shit!
Wow.
Holy shit! So they take me my buddy Ryan meets me in the parking lot, takes me into the side door. Gives me some swag. It's just like, do you need something to drink? And we go into the arcade.
You're back to Southern hospitality.
Woo, let's go. Boom. As I'm walking through there, I see our boy Cale Spiteri.
Oh.
And I just they're like, what the hell are you doing here? So I go in there, talk to John. John had a hot dog maker. Yeah.
What?
I'll show you photos of it. He brought the break room. They had a hot dog maker. They're just watching this thing operate.
Like Circle K?
Yeah. Well, it's like they're in like little cages and they're rotating and they got the heat element. Yeah. Oh, it was great. And so then I'm hanging out with Jack. Oh, it felt warm and good. Now
Jack Danger.
Different Jack. Yeah, different Jack. Warm Jack.
Jack.
And hanging out with Jack and Wason playing X-Men.
Mm-hmm.
Let's fucking go.
Oh.
This game gave me chills. Okay. And, I'm not trying to diss Jersey Jack. Like I've talked about this ad nauseum. Jersey Jacks, a lot of people have. Mm-hmm. I mean, that's why Jersey Jack had to add some capacitors and stuff to fix their flippers. Mm-hmm. But it's not the power. It's the lag. It's the latency of Jersey Jack flippers that just missed the mark. So as soon as I played X-Men, it was like a breath of fresh air. I am in total control of this damn ball. Mm-hmm. Like when I move my fingers, the flippers move that split millisecond. It just felt so good after playing Avatar all day. And I'm not saying Avatar is not a good machine. Great machine. Nobody can beat Stern's flipper feel. Nobody even comes remotely close. No manufacturer. Boom. Full stop. And that's a fact.
Write it down.
Yeah, write it down. This game, first of all, let me address a couple of things people have said online. They're worried that it's a drain monster, mm-hmm. and they're worried they will not be able to get used to the offset flippers, mm-hmm. right? We're away from no more Italian bottom. Everybody's seen the photos by now, and probably some video. As soon as you plunge, you do not even notice that these flippers are offset. And anyway, look at any Stern. No flippers are right down the middle. Look at the action button. The flippers are a little bit to the left. You do not even notice these off-centered flippers. I know this is a little more extreme than other Sterns. Mm-hmm. It is so refreshing to have something wildly different from Stern. This is cool. Bravo, Jack. Bravo, Wason. This thing is so very cool, and the balls are easily savable. When it goes into the danger room,
this was my question, mm-hmm. Mark the Shark's question. We were all wondering: mm-hmm. Is this going to be like Paragon? Is this going to be like Beast Slayer, where you just
it is nothing,
cross your fingers?
It is absolutely nothing like that. Absolutely nothing like that. You can trap the ball on that tiny flipper and choose your shot.
No kidding.
Yeah, it is so great.
How hard is it to trap the ball?
Extremely easy.
Wow.
Yeah, Jack, just like Foo Fighters, just like the Jurassic Park Home Edition, like Jack seems to make these layouts that are very approachable to anyone.
They're very different.
This is good for the industry.
Yeah, I love
mm-hmm.
that it's like whenever because we didn't know because this is Jack's second-ish game of Jurassic Park, mm-hmm. but. I was wondering, is it going to be, before we saw the pictures, is it going to be like wild? Like Foo Fighters had so many unexpected things, and it was really cool to see all this like freshness. I think is the best way to put it. And then whenever this game came out, it was like, oh God, like that was just the tip.
Yeah, right. Just the tip. So that was awesome. And, it was cool. The Jersey Jack, the whole tour was, I was very thankful for them. I may not get invited again, but that's fine. But, just like Jersey, Jack kind of like soured the whole thing for me at Jersey Jack.
He is the figure. He represents the company, right? So
right.
Awesome
it comes from the top down.
All of those other people.
And it wasn't, it was not just me like overthinking this. 4 people from the media tour came to me at separate occasions and was basically like, why the hell was he talking to you like that? Like big names in pinball media. I'll even say it. Even Canada.
Not a man known
Canada
for
can handle
kindness.
He is in person.
No, yes.
But he's outrageous, and he was even like, "What was up with him saying that to you?" You know, and it was like it really soured the trip.
Aww.
But I made whatever. I had a great time with everybody else, and so afterwards. After I left Stern, we go to a private party at Interium for where they released Avatar. I think it's the first time it was in public, and we had a great time because Jack showed up. So Jack Danger. So at the end of the night, Steve Ritchie. I got to hang out with Steve Ritchie and hear some Arizona stories from Steve Ritchie. That was great. But like everybody was there. It was so much fun. But so the end of the night. It was me, Colin, Canada, Mark Seiden, and Jack Danger. And
I love it whenever designers from different.
They love each other, and Jack was just playing. Jack blew up Avatar and was just like, man, you knocked it out of the park. To Mark, and he did. And Mark is such a sweet guy. I mean, Jack Danger is. But it was very cool because you have Canada there asking him questions. It was like I was in the middle of a Canada podcast. He's like interviewing these 2 incredible designers. And then I came back home. It was a great trip. Got on an airplane the next morning and came back home.
Made it all the way back here.
Made it all the way back here, and it was a good time. And thank you so much to Ken Cromwell for inviting me and feeding me and lodging me and all that good stuff and making sure I got out there safely. So that was very cool.
I look forward to seeing these guys again at Expo. I missed the whole thing because I was drawing I was drawing some decomposition. Yeah. Well, reverse decomposition.
For sure.
Composition.
Now we need to say what everybody's wondering.
Okay.
Are you getting these 2 machines?
Yes. We are getting both Avatar and X-Men. We are... Game Room Goodies is hooking up... Well, actually, both. So we will have both of them. At the time we're recording this, I think Avatar shipped yesterday or today. And X-Men, I think, ships maybe next week-ish or something. So we're going to get them. They'll both be there within 3 weeks. So very soon, we're going to play both of them. And I can't wait to play both of these, especially after the way you really did talk both of them up.
Yeah. These are both very cool games. Yeah. And people are going to be excited.
And I'm excited because Mark Seiden, new designer, new stuff. Like, anytime you get fresh blood, remember the first time we got to play Iron Maiden and then all of the Elwyn games, like, wow, this is totally different from what we played before. So every new designer brings, like, a whole new feel. And you think, like, well, it's probably been done before. And then
100%.
They show up with new cool stuff. So, rad. Yes, both. We're getting them.
Very cool.
I will show Jersey Jack how to make money operating pinball machines. He can call me at 1-800-ELECTRIC-BAT.
It's so comical. Like, I know I would run circles around this dude making money with pinball machines. I mean operating them. Yeah. I mean, he can, send domestic machines overseas and try to make a little extra money. But I can do it legitly.
Legitly. Okay.
Okay, so I think we want to get into the earnings report.
All right,
because it has been a month.
It has. We've been very busy.
Yeah. Okay. And this is exciting because I have, per usual, I have no idea.
You have no idea what made money this month.
What's going on? And so are we going to start? We start at like 10 and work our way up, right?
We start at 10. And this month I did not do classics because the classics take a lot of extra time for me to like go through and do the math and menu dive and all that. So they were pretty consistent.
So you just did the top 10.
I just did the top 10.
Slay.
Yeah, so these are the top 10. There are no classics in this. Number 10, Attack from Mars. A game as old as Attack from Mars still makes top 10.
Brian Eddy classic.
It is. It's one of my favorite games.
One of my favorite games.
Yeah.
I love it. And newbies like it.
Yes.
You know, smash the saucer. That's all you have to do. Just smash the saucer. Like, don't worry about anything else. You know,
watch the little guys go.
Yeah. It's great for new players. Is this always in the top 10? I can't remember.
It's always hovering. I don't know that it's necessarily, but yeah, it's always in the top 15. And for reference, this game made about half as much as the number one game. So that's how much.
Very good.
What the difference is there.
Congratulations, Attack from Mars.
Yes.
Okay.
Number 9, the Alien shooter. So I put this in because it's
okay.
So it's a
and
shooter.
That's a raw thrills.
Raw thrills
with machine guns and a giant screen.
Yep.
I like how you're adding that in there.
So we also Retro Ralph put in Big Buck Hunter.
People are
fancy edition. It's
loving that thing.
Crazy. It has a ton of different modes, not just Buck Hunter. That one in the middle of last month. So the earnings. We'll see where that falls in next month's episode. So we'll have another shooter to compare it to. That's what I'm really interested in.
Okay, good.
Number 8, Scooby-Doo.
Scooby-Doo.
That's right. Thanks, Spooky.
I'm glad that thing's earning money because it's unfortunate it's not a good tournament game.
No.
Or people do have it in tournaments, like Ian from Nudge Magazine. Our friend Ian, Doc Monday.
That's right.
I think he just goes by Ian now.
Oh.
I don't know. Either way, but people know who we're talking about.
Yep.
He asked me for some tips because he was playing it in a tournament.
I have no idea how to play that game.
And I don't know where the code is going, but remember how we just used to go upper playfield, start a multi-ball, and then keep and repeat, wash and repeat. I just wish that game was better for tournaments because it's kind of it's more reliable than Looney Tunes.
Yeah, Looney Tunes still needs some code.
Yeah, just like flippers stop working for no reason. You know what's funny? Manu said the same thing about wherever he was playing. That like just one, I think it was maybe at like a festival or something. Anyway, like just one random flipper will stop working on Looney Tunes. So that kind of sucks.
Yeah, if that ever happens, turn the machine off and on again. That will fix it. Like
send us an update, Spooky.
Yeah. Because it is a fun game, and Scooby-Doo, especially like for us, people our age, that license is
timeless,
top-notch.
Timeless.
Yes,
A+. Yep.
I like to just watch other people play so I can watch the clips. Brings you back. Number 7, Simpsons.
For us,
Simpsons.
This is the first time it has showed up on the top 10. Right?
Because it is the first time it has been in the arcade.
This is a great place to start for The Simpsons.
Yeah.
That's a Keith Johnson game. He worked on that.
Your friend.
Isn't that cool? My personal friend,
Your
Keith
close
Johnson.
personal friend. Nice guy.
Yeah, great guy.
Stranger Things.
But of course, that's always a good earner. Yeah, if you're operating machines, try to get your hands on a Stranger Things.
Yeah, even though
people love that game.
Sometimes people ask me about that. Like, isn't that license kind of not tired? But it's the show is not super current anymore. People love that game. People like the way that Stranger Things is an excellent game. Operate a Stranger Things.
If you do get a Stranger Things, get the accessories.
Yes.
The UV kit is a must.
Agreed.
Absolute must. And the D20 shooter knob.
Yes.
You have to have that. We have both of those.
Yeah. Yeah. I wouldn't have it any other. Any chance to put a D20 somewhere, I'm for it.
Yeah.
And then another game in number 5. It's another game that's not super fresh off the line. Very good earner. Deadpool.
Oh yes.
Sometimes people ask me that when they're like, if you have an opportunity to buy a used game, Deadpool and Stranger Things are 2 great ones for earnings. They do well Not just at the Electric Bat. I hear it from other operators as well. Number 4, John Wick.
People are loving John Wick.
People are loving Wick. But it did get topped out in number 3 by Godzilla.
God. We are not tired of Godzilla. You know, before the tournament, I was cleaning Godzilla, and man, that is a beautiful machine. I was.
You keep trying to
shined it up.
Get me to bring the Pro home from Flagstaff so we can play it at the house.
I want the Pro and that. We own a Pro and a Premium, and we're operating both of them.
Yes.
And I want that Pro home.
And then I am in charge of the bank account, and I'm leaving it on location.
That's fair.
Number 2, Jaws.
Boom. Jaws.
And it was very close to Godzilla. Those two are neck and neck. And actually,
another Elwin game.
The first place earner is also, all 3 of those are within $150, $200 of each other.
Okay.
So very close. Number 1, Pulp Fiction.
Now, didn't Pulp Fiction lose that spot?
It did.
Last month too.
Well, last month, remember we had that issue, so it was down a lot of the month.
That's right.
While we were getting replacement parts and stuff, fixing. We were fixing it. Now it's fixed. So it was probably boosted by being off the floor for 2 weeks.
Good point.
And then
maybe we should do that with other games.
We do that. Monster Bash is back on the floor.
Yeah.
Rick and Morty is back on the floor.
Right.
We got some thank yous from some folks about that. Yeah. So that is your earnings report for the month. That was the month of August.
Very, very good. And thank you for doing all that hard work and putting the numbers in the spreadsheet. We might need to send those to Jack to see what's going on here. Okay. Mailbag.
Yeah.
Another fan favorite.
Okay.
You're not going to believe this. The first question. Gutter Ghoul. Gutter Ghoul is back with, this is the only reason we have a show. We have a program.
He keeps the question, the mailbag alive.
Yeah, we have a program because of Gutter Ghoul.
We are birthday twins. Last night.
We just found that out, right?
So last night, I think there was 105 people in the tournament. 3 of us had the same birthday.
You have to be kidding me.
No.
How'd that feel?
Like
you were with your team, your tribe?
Yeah, like I was with people whose parents enjoyed Christmas and New Year's.
Yeah.
That's
Question from Gutter Ghoul. How much weight do mechs/code/shot geometry play into your pinball enjoyment in and out of tournament play? If a game plays great but code is simple, is that a deal breaker? Does an amazing light show in code make up for a bare bones playfield? You want to go with that?
Yeah. So I'm going to answer that 2 ways. As personally, like what does Rachel play? Simple code is nice for me. I enjoy. We were just talking about Attack from Mars.
Nitro Ground Shaker.
I consistently praise Joker Poker.
Oh.
So I like easy to learn, difficult to master. That's my preferred code style. For operating, I like to have a mech. I like to have a toy, something, a bash toy, something that does something, the Demogorgon, because that is very intriguing to people that are not diehard pinball folks. It just makes it makes for a great experience.
Yeah, sure.
right off the bat. So I do think it's important to have cool mechs and cool accessible mechs. I need them to be on the front end of the game. I don't want you to have to I don't want you to have to beat modes to be able to see cool things. You need to be able to see the cool things. A casual, inexperienced player needs to be able to see those things.
Very good. And for me, I'm just happy to be here. I like all pinball machines.
You're just grateful to get in the truck every day. Go down to the arcade. Still there.
Also from Gutter Ghoul, who are your favorite designers/coders and what works of theirs impressed you? Bonus points, what designers/coders are under the radar? Any hidden gems that people need to be aware of?
Man, that's a question for people who keep track of things like that, and you and I don't. I can keep track of which designers' games are easier or harder to work on, and that's most important to me. So I love working on Elwyn games generally, or classic Bally's, classic Stearns.
Gottlieb?
Or classic Gottlieb's. Actually, I wouldn't. Classic Gottlieb's flipper rebuilds are a bear.
I can handle that.
Yeah, well,
but you need a vice. You need a vice and all that stuff.
So as far as actual game design goes, I really love people who bring freshness to it. So right now, I'm into Jack Danger. I think
for sure.
But it's new and different. So
and
grass is always greener.
I'll take the bonus round.
Okay.
What designers / coders are under the radar? I don't think this person's designing anymore, but Dan Langlois.
Oh, yes.
He does the weird games.
Yeah, I don't know how to say his name.
Jack Danger has mentioned him before. We had an Escape from Lost World. Mm-hmm. That's the kind of quirkiness he does.
Stuff, yeah.
So that's
his last name was it Langlolais? Is that how you spell it?
Langlois. First name Dan.
Oh.
Yeah. So look up his games. He does some really cool stuff. Thank you so much, Gutterghoul, and hit us up with some new questions. I'm sure after this podcast he'll have some questions.
Yes,
because this is a spicy one. This is spicy. This was an in real life question.
Okay,
I can't remember who asked this.
All right.
How do you prioritize games to put in the arcade when working with other people's games that we don't own?
Okay. Mm-hmm. Yeah, because probably maybe a third of the games in the arcade.
He's talking about somebody that operates in our arcade.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So Mark the Shark operates a lot of games in Electric Bat, and then there's a couple of people who have 1 and 2 games. And I prioritize those by games that, one, we don't have, and really don't plan on getting, but would be very cool games to have for usually 3 to 6 months is what I'm thinking. This would be a cool thing to try out for a short amount of time and then swap it out because we don't have indefinite storage space. So I want to see games that are expensive that we don't want to necessarily foot the bill on, but would give somebody else an opportunity to have the experience of operating. Games that I don't want. I don't want games. I prioritize also by people who can fix their own games. People who know what they're doing. That's a huge asset to me. Out of 60-something pinball machines in Tempe, it would be nice to have a few here and there that I don't have to always be fixing.
Yeah.
So I think people that can fix them, games that are not everywhere. If somebody has a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, I don't want that. I could get that. It's everywhere else, right?
Yeah.
If every other arcade has it, I don't need it.
That makes sense.
What do you think about that? Do you have anything to add to that?
Well, also the tournament play.
Tournament play is very important,
right?
Because we do.
Is this game good in a tournament?
Yeah, yeah. Because we have a couple of spaces for games that are not good in tournaments, but they really do need to be good in tournaments. So sometimes those quirky games, it would be cool. Our Spectrum, for example, has been in the back, and that's our game.
And people are asking for that. I think we should put it on the floor for a little bit because people are really missing that game.
Yeah, terrible game in tournaments. So we don't. So other games that kind of fit are in that category. We don't want, I guess.
Yeah. Very good answer. Thank you so much, Rachel. And thank you so much, the IRL person that asked us that.
Yeah, remind me.
If that was you,
thank you.
Let us know. Shoot us a message on the Discord, and we'll give you the proper attribution. Right. Next question from It's Me, AJ.
All right.
We love AJ. He's in the Discord. If you want to chat with AJ, drop into the Discord. How often and how do you deal with super sore losers at your tournaments? I have a feeling he's put on some tournaments and...
This sounds like it's coming from personal experience.
Has some issues, right? The type of people where it's the game's fault or other people's fault or anything else but their fault that they lose. How do we deal with it? Well,
we don't see it very often.
Right. Every once in a while, you'll have a player that maybe doesn't understand the rules of pinball tournaments.
Like IFPA rules.
Right.
Yeah.
And they don't like a call, even when it's just like a very standard call.
Like they forgot to put all 4 players and then had a killer first ball and then like, sorry, we are restarting with 4 players. You lose that.
Right.
Yeah.
And that was another arcade that's locally here that had a huge issue with that, where somebody had an outburst and actually like got in touch with Josh, just like, hey, I don't agree with this ruling. Can you do something about this? It was like, man, how long are you going to be mad about this? But I think he wanted to play, since he didn't start. It was a 3-player game, and he started a 4-player game. I think it was like that.
Oh.
And per the rules, you have to start all the way over. A TD can do.
There's some wiggle room
there. But anyway, that was a scenario. People playing the wrong balls.
Yeah.
And it's the more experienced players, when they do it, they're just like, that's a tilt throughs.
Yeah.
Those are things that like kind of set off newer players. And this is touchy because you want them to have a good time. You want them to enjoy themselves. You want them to come back. And it's not, and for us, it's really not about money. We want a huge group of people having fun and enjoying themselves. So you do kind of have to treat it with kid gloves. You have to explain, like, man, I am really sorry, but it's a very standard IFPA ruling, and we have to be consistent. I can't, just because like we've become close, I can't give you a pass.
Right.
And you have to take some tact.
Yeah, consistency is the number one thing. People, but we don't see people that like just. We've seen some examples in some other tournaments where people start like donkey kicking the game.
Yeah.
And like getting angry in a way that makes people really uncomfortable.
Right.
We see that very rarely, given the not too often. So we're lucky. I don't know if it's luck. It may just be kind of the environment that we work pretty hard to foster. I don't really want to tolerate assholes.
Yeah.
We're there to have a good time. Life is too short, and believe me, I have seen what happens.
How short life is, right?
Yeah. Just enjoy yourself.
Good deal. Thank you, AJ. I hope we answered your question. If not, just jump into Discord and let's discuss it. Now we're on to Heavy Dirty Souls.
Man.
From Discord, question for the best arcade owners in the business.
Ooh.
Thank you so much. I don't know if we can take that title, but we really appreciate you saying that. Is there a pinball machine you have a personal vendetta with? A mode or feature that drives you nuts? For me, it's where the Kaiju battle mode is on Godzilla. Takes me so many attempts to get it. Which machine would you improve with this, and why? Thanks for being such a fun show. First of all, a mode or feature that drives you nuts. Galactic Tank Force was nuts. Before we sold it. It would lose track of balls no matter how many times you'd update the machine. So that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But I think he's thinking of like gameplay.
From player, like the way the game is. If it's being played the way it's supposed to work.
Oh, yeah. For me, it's Rush.
What about Rush?
Just the complicated rules.
Yeah.
I know I could sit down with Ty and he could tell me all about it. But I love games where you just get there and start playing. And you can get a decent tournament score without having to know those rules. And that's one of those games where if somebody knows the sequence, whatever the albums are, I really don't know. It's probably people like yelling at the camera right now or the screen. But if somebody really knows how to play that, they can immediately blow it up and tear up anybody at a tournament. But, if you're not used to it and don't know the rules, you're going to get crushed.
Yeah, I feel that same way with several games. I think Avengers I don't maximize, but Avengers doesn't. I can make things happen on that. Venom, some of those games, But the stuff that came to mind was really like Looney Tunes whenever you're trying to play something and then software bugs make it not.
Or a flipper doesn't work.
So that's where I am with that. But I can see like what he's talking about with Godzilla. Like if you could just wallow out that hole.
And that will happen over time. Right?
We won't ever put a cliffy on it. So if you guys just keep playing it, eventually that hole will get bigger.
That's what I love about Starfighters.
The Monster Bash at Starfighters.
They have an original Monster Bash, and I think you could fit a baseball into that scoop.
It's almost big enough that there's like the metal scoop underneath the playfield. The ball can almost fall through the playfield outside of that.
Yeah, it's great.
But it makes the game so much more fun. Like I love. We're not joking. It's really.
No, it's a fun game.
I hope that they don't ever. And it shows like how awesome that game is. Like people have been playing that game forever.
I say it all the time. I want to see some wear and tear on these machines that shows the love and fun that was had on these machines and inside these machines. And man, it makes me feel good.
Yes.
Thank you so much, Heavy Dirty Souls. We will see you in the Discord. Now we're going over to Chumples.
I always laugh whenever.
Yeah, Chumples in the Discord. How many of these? And it was a photo of our free beer tokens.
Oh, okay.
How many of these unredeemed tokens do you find in the machines? More than you would think.
More than half of them,
yes.
I think, go back into the machines. People not paying attention.
Mm-hmm.
So, people that may not know what these are in the token machines. We have our regular tokens are the brass-colored tokens, and then we have some silver-colored tokens that if you get those, you can either play them in the machine, like a regular 25-cent token that you paid for, or you can trade them in for a beer or a liquid death, if you're not drinking.
If you don't drink, great.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Good. I'm glad you did that. People love that.
Yes.
Because as soon as they get their, they have like $20 worth of tokens, they're looking around for a silver one.
Yeah.
And so, people really enjoy that. So actually, a lot of people just spend them to play pinball, and hey, that's totally cool.
About half of them, and also whenever they turn them into the bartenders, I know sometimes the bartenders will get them back to us by playing them, so some of them get added that way as well.
We've already. No, I'm not going to go into that question. We're going to move on to Lauren.
Okay.
Roland had a question about Avatar and if we're going to get it, and we are.
Yes.
So now he knows. And I've actually already told him in person. So
okay.
This is from our buddy Lauren.
Oh.
He's in Discord, and he uses the moniker Lauren, which is actually his real name. That's very cool. That's refreshing, isn't it? So question for the Batcast. Did you accumulate the supplies you'd need for repairs over time, or is there a basic set of parts you would supply yourself with on a regular basis? Is there a standard bunch of parts someone who owns a bunch of Sterns on location would typically need? And then same question for earlier Bally Williams stuff. I think it's all the same answer. Man, you had a lot of parts before I ever met you.
Anybody that has a lot of games probably has a lot of parts, unless they just have a tech that comes over all the time. So we did have a lot, but certainly we bought a lot more when the arcade opened. And there are several parts that you should have. I would say that you should have flipper rebuilds for every era of game that you have. You should have miscellaneous rubbers so that you can replace those.
Of rubbers.
So that you can replace you don't ever want to have a game down because of a rubber. That's crazy. Balls, you can have.
Oh, yes.
Swap those out from time to time.
Mm-hmm.
One of the things that I was thinking about that people wouldn't maybe think of is, especially in classic Sterns, not new Sterns, the old Sterns, we have a lot of drop targets break in those. They break in Meteor, they break in Freefall, they break in Stars. More so than Bally's. I don't know if there's a flipper strength difference there. I'm not sure why it is, but we do see more classic Stern drop targets break. So always having some of those around to replace them.
Okay.
And it may just be because they're old and whatever plastic that was
Mm-hmm.
shatters. But
Sure.
Some of those drop targets I would have. Are there some things that you can think of in addition to that?
I think that's about it, but
lamps, of course.
Oh yeah, LED, like tons of lamps. But like
home users don't need tons of lamps.
No. But I think he's talking about if somebody's has them on location. Stearns, or Bally Williams. Like get a wide variety of LED bulbs.
Even though they're supposed to last forever, you know, we replace a good bit of them.
Certainly.
Something else are these like flashers on the stern aprons. They're a little PCB flasher.
Yeah.
We've had to replace many of those in the more recent games because it'll start strobing, and I don't know if there's just a batch of flashers that are more prone to do that, but I've started keeping those on hand.
Right. And optos.
Optos.
Have optos on hand.
Yep.
You're going to be replacing those. Also, microfiber cloths and glass cleaner, super important.
And separately.
People might not be thinking about it. Yes, we have a color. We use a light blue microfiber cloth for the glass and a yellow for the playfield because we use Novus on the playfield. You don't want to take a rag with Novus on it and then clean your glass. I mean, because Novus is somewhat abrasive, right?
Yeah, just make a mess.
So that's a cool little tip. Different color cloths, microfiber cloths. Also, especially if you're dealing with like older Bally Williams thing, you might run into something where you might need this on a stern, but just like some fasteners, like some screws, go to Harbor Freight, just get an assortment, and it's cheap. And because there are times, especially with older games,
screws, washers, locking nuts, just a real basic hardware thing. Just keep it in a little like tackle.
Yeah, our shop, like I think anybody who has 30 to 100 machines on location, they basically have a small pinball store, and that's what our shop looks like. I mean, we have shelves and shelves of equipment, boards, transformers. I mean, you name it.
I got a
actually
really
whole
cool
machines
label maker for my birthday, so I've been going through and like before they were all like handwritten on painter's tape, and now I'm going through and making very nice, clean labels for everything.
Right.
And there's a lot of things to be labeled. Connectors. I replace a lot of connectors in older games.
So get a label maker. Add that to your toolkit. You get a little brother, a little battery operated.
Oh, I love this thing.
Love it. Cool. I think we answered this question. If not, we'll see him tonight.
Yeah. We got Dan from Project Pinball coming by tonight. That'll be nice.
Right. Tonight, Dan from Project Pinball is dropping by. Retro Ralph is coming, and I'm gonna record a podcast with him.
You got a big day.
I got a big day ahead of me. But that's all I have for today.
Okay. Well, that was great.
We did it.
Yeah.
We finished it. We're at like an hour 12. I like that.
That's about the right amount of time.
Thank you so much to Game Room Goodies. If you need any machines, what else do they have? Do they have jacuzzis?
I'm sure if you
I bet they can find one.
They can make it happen.
But they have anything for your game room or arcade. Check out GameRoomGoodies.com. Also, don't forget Marco Specialties. Free shipping code EBA150. That's EBA150 for free shipping on orders of $150 or more.
Yeah.
And we can definitely spend $150 in no time.
Yeah. We can. And if you team up with somebody.
And thank you so much to Stern Insider Connected. If you're operating these machines, get those leaderboards up. I'm telling you, it makes people play these machines, and people have a lot of fun competing on these monthly leaderboards. And they have all kind of fantastic badges out right now you can get, and they have more on the way. And thank you so much to Stern Insider Connected. What you guys doing is absolutely amazing. So go out there, go find X-Men's going to be on the street soon. Go play that thing. You guys are going to love it. These shots are amazing. I found myself just like making, for no reason, it won't even be lit. I'm just making these shots over and over again just because they're so cool. These like figure eights and all that stuff. And Avatars are shipping out right now. It's a beautiful game also, and you're going to have a lot of fun with that. This is the best time to be in pinball. This is the best pinball timeline.
Yep.
Everybody's having fun, making cool machines, and enjoying themselves.
And in a month, we'll be at Expo.
Man, it's going to be a great...
Please say hi. Introduce yourself.
Yeah.
We want to say hi to you.
And we're going to Colin's Mixer.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we're going to do it up out there. So we'll see all you guys at Expo.
We even have we've got a panel you can come to.
You have 2 panels.
Oh gosh, I forgot.
I know.
Yeah.
But we'll hopefully we'll do a podcast before. We'll do a before Expo podcast.
And it will have the specifics.
It sure will.
We don't know off the top of our head.
All righty. Thank you all for joining us. I hope you have a absolutely beautiful day, week, month, year. Go out there and play these machines. Play the shit out of them. Let's keep these things running. Go to your local arcade and drop a bunch of quarters in these bad boys. And that's actually what we're about to go do now.
It is, yeah.
All right. The bats are out.
Bats out.
Thank you for joining us. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.